Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel and a very good evening to all of you. So today we will be discussing about the inclusive education enrollment of CWSN, and here you can see that some tentative chapterization and where you can see introduction, key aspects related to the enrollment of CWSN, challenges, conclusion and references. So first of all we need to know about what CWSN stands for. CWSN stands for Children with Special Needs, and it aims that all children have the right to quality education and learning prospects together with their peers. And the enrollment of CWSN in inclusive education system is a critical step toward achieving the goal. And here are some key aspects related to the enrollment of CWSN in inclusive education. So, at first, you can observe that legal and policy framework. Many countries have laws and policies that mandate the inclusion of CWSN in mainstream schools. And for example, you can see Individuals with Disabilities Education Act in the US, and um, which is more or like same for the Right to Education Act RT, that is RT in India, and both ensure that CWSN have the right to free and compulsory education. And UNCRPD, United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. This international treaty emphasizes the right of persons with disabilities to inclusive education. And here is the second point, identification and assessment. Okay, so early identification. Schools and educational authorities should have systems in place to identify CWSN early, and which is basically through screenings and assessment and individualized educational plans, which is known as also IEP. Once identified, CWSN should have an IEP tailored to their specific needs, outlining the support and accommodations they require. And third one is, you can see, infrastructure and accessibility. So physical accessibility is first of all is needed. Schools must be physically accessible to CWSN, and you can see here are a few examples that ramps, elevators and accessible restrooms are necessary to fulfill their desire, you can say. And here is assistive technologies. Provisions of assistive devices and technologies such as, you can say, hearing aids, braille materials and speech to text software is essential for the uh, person who is, you can say, who comes under CWSN. And the fourth point is teacher training and support. Specialized training. Teachers should receive training in inclusive education practices to effectively support CWSN. And resource persons. Schools should have access to special educators, counselors, therapists who can provide additional support and who can be a guiding force to them. Okay, so we need to make sure that they have this kind of facilities available for them. And here the fifth point is, you can say, curriculum and pedagogy. And here you can observe that adapted curriculum and inclusive teaching methods both are necessary. And what do you mean by adapted curriculum? Adapted curriculum means the curriculum should be flexible and adaptable to cater the needs of the diversified needs of the CWSN. Okay. And use of similarly use of differentiated instruction, peer tutoring, cooperative learning are also necessary to ensure that all students can actively participate and learn effectively. And parental involvement also is also necessary. And parents of CWSN should be made aware of their rights and the benefits of the inclusive education. And here comes the monitoring and evaluation. Okay, so regular assessment and feedback mechanism is also necessary. Okay, and what do you mean by the feedback mechanisms? So it's a system uh, which should be in place to gather feedback from students, parents, and teachers to improve inclusive practices. And the last point is community and societal support. So, community awareness programs will be there to reduce stigma and to promote the inclusion of CWSN. And here here we can see that several partnerships, okay, so collaboration with NGOs, government agencies, and other stakeholders will also be there to support inclusive education initiatives. So we talked about, you can see that we talked about the key aspects which is related to the enrollment of CWSN. And here we can see that there are also few challenges. Okay, there are few challenges and which we need to make sure that these are met so that the purpose or the aims of inclusive education gets fulfilled. So basically we need to look after the challenges. First of all, here comes lack of resources. Many schools, especially in low income areas, lack the necessary resources to implement inclusive education effectively. And attitudinal barriers attitudinal barriers refers to the negative attitudes and misconceptions about the abilities of CWSN, and which can hinder their inclusion to the mainstream uh, classroom situation. And teacher preparedness is also one of the prominent challenges that could be a uh, that could be a barrier to the system of inclusive education. So, not all teachers are adequately trained to handle the diversified needs of CWSN. And here is the next chapter conclusion. As you can see that the enrollment of CWSN in inclusive education is a multifaceted process. Okay, multifaceted process, and that requires coordinated efforts from government, educational institutions, teachers, parents, community, etc. And by addressing the various challenges and implementing the best practices, we can create an inclusive educational environment for the children who are we can say regardless of their abilities, they can get their education system, and so that we can have a beautiful society. So that's all for today, and thank you so much